The Auburn men's basketball team is back in season for 2023-2024. We have our first game to react to. We're going to be talking about Auburn versus Baylor. They fall in a very close and very good matchup, 88-82 in South Dakota. Let's talk about it. Your thoughts, my comments, all of that coming up right now. War Eagle Auburn family, War Eagle E2C Network family, thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, however you got here, whenever you got here. We appreciate you being here, being part of our little family within the Auburn family. As is the case for every single live stream, we'd like to start off by encouraging you to smash the like button. It does help the stream out and helps us grow and find other people to be part of our little family within the Auburn family. We'd also love for you to start off the show by making sure you post where you're watching from, your city, your state, international. Any of you that are over there right now in South Dakota leaving the facility, would love to hear some of your thoughts in the comments section about that if you're watching live. But mostly, let's just take the opportunity to celebrate right now that Auburn basketball is back, baby. We get to talk about it once again for the 2023-2024 season. Now, I had hoped we would be talking about a win to start off the season. Sadly, that is not the case tonight, losing by the score of 82 to the number 20, I think, in the rankings that were listed there, Baylor Bears. Not something to be disappointed about in terms of it is something to be disappointed about, but it's not something to be disappointed that it was a major failure, things like that. Baylor is higher ranked. Baylor is more favored than Auburn to have a better year at this point of the season for what we know about them. But what Auburn showed tonight is that they deserve a lot more respect than a lot of teams are giving them, and a lot of spectators, commentators are giving them out there tonight. 88-82, your final score. Lots of new faces, lots of new talent, lots of new. Well, and I'd say also some things that still continue to plague us. Free throws. I'll look at the stats in a little bit, but if you've been here before, you know the drill with me. I have a lot of things that I look for and what's going to be telling the tale of a successful basketball game. Rebounds, turnovers, and free throws are the three big things, and we'll look at those coming up here. But for now, let's get into commentary, your discussions about all of these things. A lot of people checking in. We got somebody from Huntsville. We got WT checking in from Pelham. Big Simps here. Good to see you. And he wants to just yell from the rooftops, Holloway. Love it, love it, love it. A lot of people are talking about the depth. A great game. One of the things that the commentators on the TV tonight talked a lot about is how this felt like it was billed as a late March Madness type of matchup and game, and it lived up to that. You had Baylor, who came out, kind of asserted themselves, not drastically, but enough to start off the game. And then you had Auburn find a way to get out there to a 9-point lead at one point. Also found a way to lose it, too. And with just the waning minutes, made some crucial mistakes that gave a team that is as talented as Baylor the opportunity to step up and find the ways to win the game. And frustrating to see it them win that way, especially when the game was in Auburn's hands for the majority of it. So we'll talk about some of your comments and questions. So keep them, posting them. If we don't hit something that you're particularly wanting to talk about, we'll try our best to get those things in. As always, productive, constructive criticism is what will get you and your comment brought up here. Stuff other than that, not necessary and not going to be included in the stream tonight. I'll be one Kenobi. I don't know if we've seen you before, Obi-Wan Kenobi, but that's an awesome avatar, and that's an awesome name. This is a much improved team from last year. We can't keep the theme of letting go of the lead in the last few minutes of the game. It's costed us too many times, if I could speak. So yes, I think that's a very fair assessment. Happened a lot last year. It felt like, if I remember correctly, we did give up leads late that we had established. A lot of the times, though, what had happened last year, in my memory, was we let teams get out to a sizable enough lead, and we were just not a great enough offensive team to be able to battle back in enough time. Given enough time, we might have been able to. Auburn's got an offense, at least in game one this season. Looked pretty dang good, and really excited about that. Rise Life, way too many fouls. Almost every point I watched for Baylor were either at the free throw or off of turnovers. Sure, yeah, I mean, and that's what great teams do. They create opportunities like turnovers. They create opportunities for themselves to get fouled. And so, yeah, it's a little bit on us, but it's also credit to them as well. You can see why Coach Drew for Baylor is as respected as he is as a national championship winning coach. And yeah, I walk away from this game annoyed with some of the things that happened, but not discouraged in any way. I liked what I saw for the majority of this game. Looked over to the people I was with tonight and said, even, this team's going to be scary good if they can play like this the majority of the season. So game one, though, so let's not overreact to anything thus far. How did we get Katie to be so calm? I love it. I don't know that he was calm the entire game, but that's also when Katie's at his best and his worst. Katie is who he is, and you need to let him cook, as the kids say these days. And he also made a very clutch pull-up jumper to keep it close enough at the very end of the game there. So Katie's grown a lot as a player in what he's willing to do, what he's most successful at, and he is still going to be a crucial aspect of this team, even if he doesn't start this year, which he didn't start in this game. Jacob says tough loss, but this team is going to be good. A lot of new faces that will need to gel. Is everybody used to the new faces yet? I know it's only one game. If you went to the scrimmage, maybe you had some extra time or an open practice to get used to them. A lot of new faces, and talent looks pretty good, doesn't it? Filling some roles and some needs that we very much missed last year. I do love how we spread the ball around and had several players score. In fact, at the halftime mark, I think everybody had scored except for Chaney Johnson, and I could be wrong on that. I probably am wrong on that, just to be honest, but I do feel like that was the case. So, yes, we did spread the ball around a lot, and I really liked what I saw from this team. Offensively, defensively, at time, you could probably make a case where there were some things, when you talk about fouls and things like that, where you could have been a little bit better. And I do apologize for the computer moving around and stuff like that right now, but we're on the road, as you can tell, and having to get everything working as best we can while we're on the road right now. So you may see that moving when I'm typing in things, looking up information, and the audio quality and the visual quality of our stream here probably isn't as top notch as it normally is, but wanted to make sure if I was able to do a post-game stream with you all. This is Gregorio. Well, that's going to get confusing. You guys do this to me all the time. Y'all change your names, and then it's the same person. I forget. You can do whatever you want. I love the name, though. Let's see here. I feel like Broom needs to slow down a little bit. I think Janai, through game one, is seeing within himself more it's the expectations that are there, but also seeing what he's capable of and what this team could be capable of. And I think that situation at the end of the game with a technical foul is kind of a showcase of that. It's like, man, this was our game and we're better than this. And I think the way that the game had played throughout was a confirmation of that, in my view. I think that was very frustrating for him to grasp tonight. All right, so how I normally do these things, we'll keep taking comments and questions, but I also want to talk about stats. I want to talk about numbers. I want to talk about the game within the game, things like that. That's typically how we do things here. I want to start with team stats tonight. Obviously, the final score, 88-82. Field goal percentage tonight for Auburn, slightly better than Baylor, which is interesting since you lost 44%. 3-point percentage. Look at this, folks. Completely even across the board if all these stats are updated properly. 9 for 19 for both teams for 47.4%. This was a good shooting game, good offensive game, especially in the 80s for both teams. Free throw percentage tonight. What do we talk about? For those of you that have been here on these streams since I've been doing these for the last 2 or 3 years, really 3 years, going on probably 4 years at this point. What wins and loses games? Free throws, free throws, free throws. If you miss them, you will lose the football game. You will lose the football game. You will lose the basketball game. If you make them down the stretch, you will have a better chance of winning. It's pretty much guaranteed if you miss your free throws, you're going to lose the game. It's not guaranteed you're going to win if you make your free throws, but you're going to put yourself in a much better position. Auburn tonight, 68%. A lot of those missed it towards the end there. So the fact that that continues to happen, that trend is still frustrating to me. Again, game one, let's see how it starts tracking over the course of non-conference play. They were 79%. My mark is 80. So they didn't even reach it, but basically they were there tonight. Rebounds tonight, dead even. So 38-38, offensive and defensive wise. So completely even there as well. And let's look at the other key statistic, 15 for 15, dead even on turnovers as well. So what won the game tonight and lost the game? Free throws. That's it. The three main categories I always stress: free throws, turnovers, and rebounds. Dead even in the other two, and a big gap, big enough gap in free throws. And you can see, and now some of that is because obviously we're in situational basketball at the end of the game. We're having to foul them and they're getting more shots and opportunities. I grant you that, but there was already a bit of a gap there as well. Let's see here. Paul E on from Huntsville. Okay, but you're on Facebook going, well, thanks for joining us over here. We always encourage people to watch wherever they can, but obviously YouTube is home base for these type of things. So good to see you over here. Best part is I won't be yelling at the TV this year because of Wendell. Well, now remember, and I should have probably brought this one up, but let's not take shots at people that are no longer here. I yelled at the TV a lot, but in good ways because of Wendell last year. But I think you can definitely see in one game thus far how maybe we improved in some areas where Wendell maybe wasn't as proficient, but we might be deficient in some areas. We'll see. We'll see how things go. My good friend Blake, proficient basketball player himself in his own right, in his heyday, got to make those points at the charity stripe. You know it. I know it, buddy. Exactly. 3-pointers look good. Not where I wish, but much improved. Obviously, a lot of improvement there. Devin's here. Good to see you. New season, same frustrations. Can't make free throws and throwing the game away at the end. Hopefully, this will not be the story for the whole season. Absolutely. Not definitive statements needing to be made by anybody by any stretch of the imagination against a Baylor team. Now, if you're having this fall apart against one of your lesser non-conference teams, neutral, home, or away, you're probably really not only frustrated, but concerned. This is Baylor, no scouting against them. They're number 20, very recent national championship team, great coach. You nearly took them down. Got to finish, but you nearly took them down. Let's see. Yeah, wasn't it nice to see Aden play so well off that injury? Janai as well. I know there was a lot of concern about their injuries coming into the game, but didn't seem like it mattered all that much. Largest lead tonight for Auburn was 9. Largest lead for Baylor was 6. So that's a really good thing there. What else team stats wise? Let's look at assists tonight by Auburn. Make sure I'm reading that right. 18. The ball was shared a lot. Someone said that earlier. We spread the ball around to several players, and clearly that shows up in the assist column. 10 blocks tonight. So when I keep reading off these things, yes, there are some frustrating things, especially when you look at free throws, but Auburn is showing up in a lot of the categories, defensively in the blocks category, in the turnover margin. They created just as many as they gave up themselves. Assists, they're sharing the ball a lot. Steals, 5 steals to their 10. Sure, maybe that's a little bit less, but that's enough to make a difference in the game. Second chance points. So really, I mean, you look at the way all of these team stats break down, give or take a few bench points, 39 for Auburn. 39. That's the depth of this team right here. And that's going to serve them well come March time when injuries start piling up for other teams. So when you look at the stats, they tell a much different story to this frustrating end of the game, what you should be excited about this team. Baylor's players are always in good shape. I mean, I guess, and they kind of have to be if they have less depth than everybody else too. Davion Mitchell, yeah. Let's see here. Guard play looked better this year compared to last year. Yeah, in one game, it certainly did, and it certainly did look better in one game. Let's see how that trend continues. Individual stats tonight. Your leading scorer tonight was ADEN HOLLOWAY. ADEN HOLLOWAY tonight, 6 for 15 from the field for 40%, 4 for 8 from three-point land. He's only 3 for 5 from the free throw line, so got to make those. But 19 points, followed up very quickly by Janai Broom with 16 points, and then Denver Jones with 13. You really got to have 3 guys. It seems, in my view, getting into those double digits to give yourself a good opportunity tonight. Everybody scores a point tonight except for Lior Berman, and he played 5 minutes in the game. So don't really hold that against him or anything like that. Chaney Johnson eventually did score. Cardwell did some great things defensively and scored tonight. Jalen Williams, pretty quiet night for him. So I was a little bit, I hate to say disappointed, but I was hoping for more from Jalen Williams. But if he gets a little bit more productive statistically game tonight, we're talking about a much different result in my view. Let's talk about this. Great thing to bring up, and I didn't mean to mention this earlier. For a player to lose his grandfather yesterday and still go out and play shows the heart of him, but obviously the team as well. So Trey Donaldson, as you probably heard on the broadcast tonight, lost his grandfather yesterday and chose to stay with the team and continue to play. And when you understand, obviously, there's not really anything he can do at that point except finish his business and then get back to be with family. So prayers go out to Trey Donaldson tonight, and very proud of the way he played, getting the start tonight, first ever career start, and he earned that, and I know he did his grandfather proud. Blake says Jalen Williams was not himself tonight. Looked like he had jet lag. He plays good. We handle Baylor. Absolutely. So what you saw tonight, Janai, is exactly who you thought he was. Maybe he frustrated you at some points tonight, like some of you have said, and that's understandable. But he's a first-team All-SEC guy for a reason, preseason for a reason, and he showed that tonight. He's going to be one of your leading scorers, if not your leading scorer, and should be every single night. If ADEN shows up like he does every single night, if Denver Jones can score the way he has showed he can tonight, and then you get a Jalen Williams, you have and then like a trading off of Trey Donaldson, of KD, of whoever else, kind of trading off who gets that 4th spot into double-digit points. Always going to be able to keep pace with a lot of teams here. It's be interesting to see how they do defensively against maybe teams that are as good as Baylor. Game for some reason reminded me of the 2021 UConn game. I have to think back to that one. It's not that long ago, but I think I understand the comparison that you're getting at. Rise Life says we got to get used to not having Flanagan. Well, I mean, again, as I said, we're not talking bad about former players or anything, but it seemed like we did all right. I loved Alan Flanagan, and I hate that they couldn't stick around, but we did just fine, it seemed like. And wishing him all the success, except when we play him. So there's that. And I agree, Jay will get it going. So he is my favorite player for a reason. He is the heart and soul of this team. And one slow start does not define this season for Jay Will. But as many of you have said, if he does a little bit better tonight, Baylor's talking about an L. Auburn nearly had its resume win in game 1 of the season. Nobody else played a top 25 team, I believe, is the stat that was being passed around. So nobody can say Auburn played a cupcake team or cupcake schedule. You got Indiana, Notre Dame, was it St. Bonaventure, I think, if they win coming up. Who else? USC coming to town. You got to go to App State, I think, this year. So it's going to be tough. Sort of like the Sharif Cooper year. All right. Comments, questions, derogatory rebuttals, things to bring up tonight. Who had a great moment or game that you wanted to talk about? Don't miss your opportunity to get that in. We normally do these for about 30 minutes or so. We're at 20 minutes. We might cut it a little bit short tonight, but I don't want to miss something that you want to talk about on this stream tonight. A couple things to keep in mind, as I've told a lot of you on several live streams, it's a recurring theme. Life is just crazy for me right now. That's the reason I'm here in a different place tonight, not in the normal studio and setup. So please bear with us, patience, trying to get you guys regular content and being non-committal to certain things. I have a feeling we will not be doing the Wednesday night show tomorrow night, but be standby in case that changes on the dime. 8 p.m. is normally when that happens. We would plan to normally do an 8 p.m. Thursday preview show for the next football game. Up in the air as well this week for me, and hopefully very soon things will start slowing down here for us at E2C Network, and we can get back into more committed regular schedules for you guys. But we were able to pull this one off tonight when I didn't think we were going to be able to. So keep that in mind. That's just kind of the open-ended schedule I hope you guys will be patient with. What else do you guys want to talk about to kind of round out the show? For some reason, I did not see us as an underdog, but Baylor is a really good team, and we played them well. Lots to improve, but lots to be hopeful for. I will reserve my overreaction. I think it's fair to not see Auburn as an underdog in this game. The underdog is more so you are truly, if you win this game, it's a shock. Auburn winning this game would not have been a shock, but it would have been an eyebrow raiser, like, wow, we underestimated Auburn further than we thought they were. So, obviously Auburn's going to start off 0-1. There are no moral victories here, but some respect was won tonight. They took one of the best teams, probably what would be one of the best teams in the Big 12, down to the wire. Should have beaten them. And, there's something to be said for that. If you've got a player of the game, go and post it now. Devin said Aden Holloway is her player of the game, so post your player of the game. Holloway versus Collier, December 18th. Is that the USC game? I forget who Collier is with. The scheduling has been top notch. Obviously, Pearl is the one who signs off on that, but his assistant coaches are the ones who really get the credit for booking / scheduling / planning who Auburn is going to play. They do a great job. Gone are the days of Auburn playing very weak non-conference schedules and losing a bunch of them. They go and play some of the best. And the great thing about a basketball season, you can be disappointed, but there's plenty of opportunity left for Auburn to turn some heads some more. We shall see. All right. I think we covered everything, most everything tonight. Again, thank you guys for allowing me to do a kind of unplanned stream tonight, even though we normally plan to do these after basketball games. If you enjoyed that, stick around this season. We would hope and plan to be able to do one after every basketball game. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for the rest of the content that we might be able to pull off for you this week. A Wednesday night show, a Thursday night show at 8 p.m., both of those, and then post-game show for Arkansas on Saturday. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for supporting us here at E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. And thank you for being part of the best little family within the Auburn family. Till I talk to you again, War Eagle.